Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jennifer Gerald, the President and CEO of DePelchin Children's Center, and I am happy to welcome you to DePelchin's Super September event. Today, we celebrate you, the superheroes and our super friends who step up and make a difference in the lives of our children. Whether you're a donor, a volunteer, a board member, a foster parent, an advocate for our mission, please know that you are an essential partner for our work. Because of you, we break the cycles of abuse and neglect. We provide safe, loving, and healing homes for our children. On behalf of myself and the entire DePelchin team, we say thank you. Over the next hour, we will be spotlighting a few of the lives that you have touched through your support of DePelchin. But first, I'd like to share a few highlights of 2020 so far. We kicked off the year with another record-breaking donation from our Texas Bowl partners. The Texas Bowl team is absolutely incredible, and they provide such great donations as well as wonderful experiences for our family and our children. Shortly after the beginning of the year, the COVID crisis swept the world, and DePelchin was quick to adapt to this really changing environment. We quickly transitioned to a virtual model for our programs and services. Our clinical case managers moved to primarily virtual visits for our families and our children, and we've relied on telehealth to provide mental health services. Of course, adoption finalizations did not stop. Many of them have also happened virtually. Our recruitment and training team introduced virtual orientations, which has actually led to an increase in potential foster parents. Our virtual programs and services did not stop there, though. We expanded our programming to offer virtual cafes, parenting cafes, to help our parents through this very difficult time. And we launched a mental health line to serve individuals who just needed some additional support. We also provided many fun activities and additional resources for our families. With the help of our kind donors and volunteers, many who are in our audience today, we were able to offer summer fun kits to help get through the summer months in a little more fun way. And our back to school drive was incredible. We were able to provide 550 children with backpacks that were full of supplies for these children to be successful in school. And I can't believe it, but we recently wrapped up our 7th year of Camp Reach. And that too was a virtual experience for our staff and our campers. Not only did our campers receive camp boxes filled with supplies so that they could do their activities such as building robots, art projects, scavenger hunts, they also received Chromebooks so that they could participate virtually. At the end of camp, they were delighted to discover that they could take those Chromebooks with them on to school. And finally, last month, 10 of our families got an extra special treat when Olympic gold medalist Simone Biles surprised them over Zoom. Simone answered their questions, talked to them about stretching and sleep techniques, and ended her time with them by reading a wonderful bedtime story. 2020 has been an exceptionally difficult and challenging year, a year of transition. But with our superheroes and our super friends like you, we have continued to provide life-changing programs. And we are so grateful and blessed, and we thank you. And now I'd like to introduce another super friend and superhero, our board chair, Susie DeStefano, and she will lead us through the next part of our program. Susie?
Thanks, Jennifer. Good afternoon and welcome. Again, we're so excited to spend time with you this afternoon. Now, before I get started, I want to make sure that the entire DePelchin team, here's a big shout out from our board. Thank you for all the great work that you're doing, building families, supporting programs in the community, and making sure that despite the COVID thing, our kids are safe and secure. So over this next hour, we're going to spend a little time getting to know some of the DePelchin staff, some of the programs, and meet our special families. So let's kick it off with our first program, and we use an acronym called TAGS. It stands for Transitioning to Adulthood Through Guidance and Support. Really important program. You get it why we call it TAGS. So let's meet the folks that are in the program and talk to the leadership.
I really love this place a lot. It has brought so much joy in my life, and I've just been very comfortable living here.
This is Miss Erin. She's always there, like if you need help submitting paperwork to school, she'll be like, "Oh, I can help you with that." She'll send over the thing.
Well, they're very, very helpful. Especially, I'm not even going to say especially. Both of them are very helpful. But Miss Erin more because she has more leverage over things, so she's able to do more things.
If you need a job, she's right there next to you, helping you find places, apply. Like, really, I don't think it's just her. She really helps me. She's the one that guides me.
Miss Erin and Miss Latasha are beneficial to us because when we need things or when things are coming or a necessity, they're there every time.
I got my first job. She helped me get my first job. She helped me get my first bank account. She helped me apply to my first college.
Before I got here, it was just chaotic.
I really wouldn't talk to nobody. If I got it, I got it, or I don't know. But now I can sit there and speak, try to talk to somebody, try to get the job I need, or ask for help. Yeah.
I've not been so alone when I have them. They're always like a comfort to me and like family to me. Just helps me stay stable and emotions wise.
It's actually been very beneficial because I've been able, where I was at a foster home. So there wasn't a lot of freedom that I had, and I wasn't able to do a lot of things.
I couldn't really function with other kids that weren't my age. It was just kind of difficult. And plus, I really couldn't go to many places.
This has helped me because now I'm able to live as a adult and do things as an adult.
It's changed a lot. I was able to get a car.
I go to work. Obviously, I go to school. I catch the bus.
I've been able to save and have reassurance to get help if I needed to with different problems, like such as if I have car trouble, I always ask Miss Erin if what's going on with it.
The resources that's been provided to us helps me a lot. So once I age out, I'm able to rely on those resources. So it's helped me.
Or if I need to like schedule some appointments or get back to school, then I can just easily do that.
Is everything taken care of once I leave here?
I thought it was great to know that at least somebody cares, you know?
Whether it's finance or like anything relating to like housing and etiquette. They told us about etiquette and things like that. I listened. I even have some of the papers that they gave us when we were in the groups and stuff.
I like the supports, like, because in the other placement, I didn't really have very much support with me between them dealing with other kids, whether it's our age or smaller. But I love the support here. It's just overwhelmingly nice. I love it.
The best, I think, is the people who help you, guide you to your path, really.
It's just the best place in the world to be if you really don't have anywhere else to go.
Is everything taken care of once I leave here? If I take care of all the things I need to do, will I be set? Will I be set once I leave?
But so overall, it's been great, and I really love it. I'm gonna miss it when I leave.
What a touching program. I'm joined now by the head of that program, Julie Hetrick, our Vice President of Prevention and Early Intervention Services. And part of Julie's role is to oversee the TAGS program. So Julie, I can't help but think of how much support all of us needed as we matured through our young adult years. Tell me, how do you make all of the support kind of come to life? How do you wrap your arms around these young adults? How many are in the house? Just let us get to know the kids a bit, the young adults rather, a bit better.
Sure. So thank you, Susie. Well, our TAGS program, we really at DePelchin, we recognize how really vulnerable in general children are as they're aging into adulthood and crossing over into becoming independent adults. However, many of us face that challenge having parents and family to support us and basically having a safety net. There is children who age out of foster care, meaning basically that as they turn 18, that they do not have what we call a forever home at DePelchin. And so they don't have family, they don't have parents who are really there to support them and guide them into into independent life. So the TAGS program is really there to help bridge that for many of the young adults. And we really look at ourselves as not just a place to live with a roof over their head, but also as truly, we try to offer them support and guidance, be there for them. And one of the things that I think is so wonderful about this program is that when we have young adults who go out and become independent and successful, and as they progress in their lives, and they reach back to us and tell us, I got this job, I had this wonderful thing happen in my life. And that really is so rewarding, because not only is it that we're so happy that we're successful, but we know that we were there to help celebrate something like that for them. So I really think it speaks a lot to the relationships that the staff create in our program.
Clearly, the staff and you, Julie, model, that connectedness and really create family for these young adults. I heard rumor that JQ, one of the TAG residents, did a pretty special thing as a result of the constraints of COVID and sort of the constraints of the house. What did JQ do?
Sure. Well, the way that our program works is that we have 20 young adults. We have 20 rooms basically for our residents to live. The rooms are actually really a nice size room, and but it is actually their own private space. And many of our residents have never really had their own private space before, like their own, even just their own room before. So they really covet that privacy that they get oftentimes for the first time in their life. So the way that we enroll, that's one thing. The way that we bring residents in is that we oftentimes have a waiting list. We almost always have a waiting list because there is some demand for this type of program, and we go down the list and take each person. There was a JQ had one of his foster brothers when he was in a foster home. Aged out, turned 18, and really wanted and needed to get out on his own. However, he applied for our program, but he was pretty far down the list. And so JQ offered him move in with him in his room until his slot actually came up and he could get his own room. So they became roommates for some time. And actually, I think it was a terrific thing and very generous of him to share this with his foster brother.
Thanks, Julie. I think that in itself is a great example of how these young people support each other, the support they receive from your team. And I would just pause and think about, once again, all the support that all of us needed through those young adult years. So thank you for what you do.
Thank you, Susie.
Very good. All right, we're going to take another look at one of DePelchin's really kind of foundational programs. It's one probably most of our participants are familiar with, and that's our foster to adoption program. And to do that, we're going to let you meet the Moffett family via video. So let's roll video.
We've always wanted to adopt and bring another child into our home because we have the capacity to love and to provide for them a stable home. So back in 2012, we actually had a third child, Luke. He was born 30 weeks early. He lived 24 hours in the NICU and passed away. So after that, 9 months later, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And so I had to have a complete mastectomy. And so we went through chemo and all of that. And so we were on the road to recovery. And the doctor talked me into taking tamoxifen. And I had a severe reaction to tamoxifen. So I had to have a complete total hysterectomy. And so from that point, we knew that having biological children just wasn't an option for us. And so, you know, we prayed a lot and talked about it. And so we knew that our heart had the capacity to love more children, and we wanted to bring them into our home. But so we just started looking to possibly adopt, and 2 private adoptions fell through. And so we just thought maybe it just wasn't time to do that at that point. And so we just focused our attention on our family and our current kids. And lo and behold, everything happens for a reason. And my daughter our biological daughter was invited to New York to dance with some of her friends. And Arnold, who works at DePelchin, was at New York with us because Leah was also invited. And so we were just having a casual conversation with Arnold and what he does with DePelchin and what it could lead to with foster to adopt. And so when I got home from New York, I talked to my husband, Greg, about it. And we looked it up and we said, let's do it. Everything happens for a reason. And this is our opportunity to be able to provide a child a safe, loving, stable environment. And then hopefully we'll be able to adopt him or her. We were licensed by the end of October, early November. And then we waited for about 6 months before we had gotten placement. We actually had gotten 2 previous calls, but then the third one is when we got our placement for the 6-day old straight from the hospital. We've had him ever since.
16 months.
16 months. He is 16 months. It's wonderful. You know, we did it to help a child to, you know, break the cycle, but what he's done for us as a family, us for our kids, just for our extended family is completely, I just can't explain what all he's done for us. The love, it's just amazing and awesome.
We have this little man here that we get to be with. So, yeah, I'd do it again in a heartbeat.
Don't look anywhere else. Just go to DePelchin. I mean, they will take you through the process. They will help you along the way. They're a resource for you. Absolutely. And even, you know, even when I talk to our CPS worker, she even tells us, oh, you're with DePelchin. That is the best. That is the best agency. You know, she's like, I don't have to worry anything. Your paperwork is always in order, Jennifer. I'm not even worried about you. I wish all my foster families were just like you in DePelchin. So the name DePelchin, it not only resonates in the foster and the adoption, but it also resonates with the state agencies because they know it's quality. They know that y'all are here for a purpose and that you really care.
So I guess no words really capture, you know, the feeling of gratitude that I think many of us have when we think about the Moffats and how they set aside some personal challenges and didn't fall into a victim mode, but kind of recreated what they needed, what they wanted, and what they had capacity to do for others. Now, I have to ask, Bentley sounds like he is quite the dude and is doing very, very well. Tell us, what's it been like? I know you have older children, and this is a little. So how's it been kind of adjusting your parenting to onboard another little guy that maybe you hadn't thought would happen years ago?
You know, it is an adjustment, but it's kind of like riding a bike. It all comes right back to you. And it's different when you're older because you get to really pay attention and really look at it in a different light because you are more patient, I think, when you're a little bit older, but it comes back. And just the joy that he brings not only to us, but also our kids and just the capacity that they see and love. And we just get to enjoy. We enjoy every single moment, minute, hour that we have with Bentley. And because he's full of life and he's really rejuvenated our family with that kid-like atmosphere.
So a lot of us would love to take that big plunge, and yet we hold ourselves back. You guys had the courage to step into something that was very new. Yes, you had parented, and so I'm sure that helped your confidence level. What can you tell people that might be sitting there sort of biting their nails a little bit? They're just not sure. They'd like to, but they're just holding back a bit.
Don't hold back, full speed ahead. And especially with DePelchin, they make it so easy with the resources and the availability that they have to answer all the questions because it's new. And, sometimes these are uncharted waters that you're going into because there's so many different appointments and people and appointments and visits that you have to do with the paperwork. But don't let that scare you or be a barrier. Let's remove those barriers and know that the goal is to help the child and to provide them a safe, loving environment. And as a team, with the resources and availability, anything is possible.
So I think that that's encouraging for me to hear as a board member. And one of the things that's so important to us is that foster and adoption not be a transaction, but it be a supportive mechanism for children and families. Tell us, if you would, how's DePelchin supported you as a new mom, your husband as a father, your older kids? What's been helpful for you?
Through the entire process, even back in training, with Arnold and Michael and, through Trudy when she came out to do the home site visit, to Maurice, who, came out when we were waiting, to Catherine, every step along the way, they're there to help you answer the questions, no matter what time it is or how stupid you think your questions are, or just to inquire about, hey, did I do this right? They are there to help you. And so it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't matter the time, the day, the question, the item. They're there to help you and just be that resource to make sure that you're successful. And at the end of the day, it's about the kid. Put the kid first and foremost, and everything else will fall into place.
Well said. Jennifer, thank you. Thank you and your family for reaching out and wrapping your arms around Bentley. And I think all of us need to be a little bit more like you. You're certainly one of our superheroes.
Thank you so much
for joining us today. Okay, next we're going to switch gears and take a look at a program that I think is very unique for DePelchin. And I guess I would introduce it by saying all of us experience a few road bumps in life, and children are no different. Some of our children, as you might know, have had really challenging beginnings, and they need support, they need nurturing, they need advanced services. So we want to take you to our residential treatment center and speak with the leader of that center, Arnold Valdez, who's going to tell us just a little bit about it. But first, we're going to roll video.
The best thing about DePelchin is the fact that we definitely put our children first.
A lot of these kids, when they come in, they angry, and they got a wall built up because they don't trust you. Who are you for me to trust you? I don't care how nice you are. I'm not going to trust you. And so I think our actions speaks louder than our words.
They come from broken relationships, okay? They come from parents and guardians that have come from broken relationships.
I love kids in general, and I love to see them happy or just get the help that they need, and to be the one to be able to give them part of what they need in life and then help them through their journey.
But it's not because they don't love you, it's because that was the learned behavior. Wherever they were, that's what they learned. This is a place of treatment, it's a place of healing, okay? Our children come here because they really have nowhere else to go at this point. Okay, and so what we do is we bring them in and we allow them to receive services that will help them in their process. And so this is just the first step. This is the first step in their journey.
And they see that consistency with us, then they say, oh, okay, if I see them hugging her and she's nice and kind and a smile on her face, I think those walls begin to come down.
These children, they don't have the foundation that many of us had. Okay, and so we're teaching them step one. Okay, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Okay, things of that nature, right? Saying thank you after someone has done something for you. And trying to teach a child that at this point has no hope. They have no concept of what a positive relationship should look like.
Because I have had kids like that who come in 2 or 3 days later, can I give you a hug? Sure, you know, but I think it's just being consistent of who you are each and every day.
You have hard days and difficult days, but you have some beautiful days. Just to see the children smile, you know, just for them to have a sound night's sleep, because we take that for granted.
I think they need our nurturing, parenting skills, teaching them social skills, personal skills to how to adapt to the outside.
We have created this new thing, which is called the DePelchin store. And so the kids, they get very excited because they earn money to go into the DePelchin store to buy different products and stuff.
And every Friday we have a blowout Friday, okay, where the children are either on water slides or they have game trucks, they have laser tag.
They do the bouncy houses, the water activities, they do order pizza for them, and that's something that they are not able to get out and get. So when they're able to receive that, they're excited. And then as a staff, we get out and we play with them also.
I love the kids because they're so innocent, you know. They, it's pure love for them. I'm almost about to cry because I just love them so much. It's because when you're down, they want to give you hugs, you know, and it's pure. It's nothing that they want. They just want pure love. And I love that about them. Oh, excuse me.
If we can give them, if we can assist them in being just a bit better today than they were yesterday, Arnold, we were successful. And that's why I'm so excited about DePelchin right now. We have healthy outcomes, positive outcomes, even in the midst of adversity, man.
Well, I don't know about you, but I think we need DePelchin on many children's team. It goes without saying that these children have special circumstances that really require a specialized team. So I want to introduce Arnold Valdez. Arnold's the Regional Director of Child Welfare and Residential Treatment Services, and he has a most awesome office. So welcome, Arnold.
Thanks, Susie.
Tell us about your office and kind of how
I'll tell you really in brief. I'll be brief because I can tend to, you know, be long-winded. But my office is full of superheroes, and I'm so excited that we've used the Super September and it's kind of gone through. It's because all of the superheroes are foster and adopted kids, right? So Superman was sent away from his, you know, his planet and raised by Jonathan and Martha Kent here. And Batman's parents died in an alley. He was raised by the butler. And Wonder Woman was born in a island of all women. She doesn't have biological parents. And so it's oftentimes Super September started with helping the kids realize, you know, oftentimes foster and adopted kids feel isolated. They feel different from everybody else. And Super September was like letting them know that the superheroes are just like them and that their potential is unlimited, right? They can do anything they want to do if, you know, they just get behind it. And so that's why the superheroes in my office. And my wife said I can't have it at home, so.
There's always that. That is extremely cool. So you've managed to really blend therapy, setting limits, and fun. Tell us a little bit about your philosophy. I loved the signs that are in the center, integrity, just kind of the core values. Tell us how you bring all that together to support the kids.
So, you know, the kids at the RTC, and so just to give you really quickly, we have the youngest one is 6 and the oldest one is 13. And so we have 15 kids out there, boys and girls. And, you know, we help them understand relationships. And that's what life is about, relationships and choices. And so we want them to make good choices, and we want to model positive relationships for them. With the staff, I think if you saw on the video how dedicated they are to the kids, and the kids, it's a genuine love that they have for the children, and that means so much to the kids, right? Because if there's one thing that a foster child can figure out, it's when somebody's not being genuine with them, right? Because of all of their experiences in life. And so to have a staff out there that is so dedicated to the kids, I think it really drives everything home. We come from a trauma-informed perspective, and so all of our teachings and all of the coping skills and the things we teach the children are about their trauma and how to heal from that and overcome that. And I can say one other thing that it's just that I can't even say enough about the staff out there. Given the world that we're in now and how everything has changed, those kiddos haven't been able to leave the facility since March, and so the staff are bringing these things in and helping them have activities on campus so that they feel like they're integrated into the world, and it's just been amazing.
So I was curious about COVID. That's probably had an effect on Fun Fridays. So you've had to be even more creative.
They have, and we've had some generous donors, the George Foundation, and there's Mr. Dodds in one of the churches out in Richmond, and they've really helped us with some funds to be able to bring things in. We had inflatable obstacle courses. They've had the big giant inflatable water slides and laser tag and dance nights and karaoke and movies and pizza and food. And so every Friday they try to do something that is really kind of takes the kids away from where they are. So, and it's very interesting. I didn't even know they had a game truck. And so I just want to describe what a game truck is. And so it's like this huge, 18-wheeler that drives up, and then in the back it opens up and there's all these video games, and it's like black lights and everything. And so the kids get to be inside there and they're playing these video games and doing virtual reality. And it's really like they're leaving. They're on campus there, but it's a whole nother environment. And the staff are amazing at putting that together for the kids. They've had virtual school since March, right? And then summer came and we weren't able to do any summer activities. The water slides, I think sometimes the staff have more fun than the kids when you see them playing and doing these stuff, but the staff are right in there with the kiddos, just like we would be with our own kids at home. And that's the environment. One of the things that I think, sometimes people get the wrong impression of the kids at the RTC or at the Residential Treatment Center. And, one thing that I always like to remind people is they're there not because of anything they did, but because of what happened to them. Right. And we sometimes forget that, right? It's about the trauma that they've suffered and, the support that they've had to be able to deal with it. My goal for any of the kids that are at the RTC is that they leave us and they're able to make it in a less restrictive environment, like a foster home or a forever home, or to be adopted, to have some sort of permanency in their lives, and that they learn from us the coping skills and how to deal with those daily stressors so they're not, they're able to express their needs in an appropriate way so they can get them met.
I think that's well said. Arnold, one of the things that strikes me that your team is teaching the kids is how to trust people that are worthy of trusting, and trust is earned. So just real briefly, before we go on to our next segment, what are the key tools that you think our kids leave the RTC with as they move to their next step, whether it's foster?
Right. I think, Susie, you said it, and it's a trusting relationship, right? And so I think one of the things that our kids are amazing at is if we can teach them in one environment that this works, and you can have a positive relationship with this person, you have a connection with one of the staff at the RTC, then they're able to generalize that to other people in the world, right? And so they know I can have a relationship with someone that's positive, that I can trust, right? And we teach them that there's people in the world that you can trust, that will be there for you. And that's a very foreign thing. All of us that were kind of in a nurturing environment when we were very, very young, we learned very early on that our parents or our caregivers were the people that we could trust. Well, these children, the person they should be able to trust most in the world has betrayed them. And so their sense of trust is flipped on the other side, right? So we have to reteach that and let them know that there are positive outcomes to relationships, to problems, to the world and the way things go. And I, that's what I hope they learn from us.
Very good. Well, a heartfelt thanks to you and your team for rebuilding these kids. As you said, there aren't bad kids. There are bad things that happen to children. And it's DePelchin's mission to help get them back on a good, solid pathway to their next stop, which is hopefully forever family. But appreciate all your work. And now we'll transition to our last segment, which is meeting the Bonura family. Now you may have seen these folks on the news because their story is truly newsworthy. So let's watch the video and then we'll get to meet Andy and Thomas.
So I always kind of had DePelchin on the brain from way back, so many years ago. And so when it came time, I reached out to some friends who, worked with other agencies, and I kind of listened to their stories. And everyone that I spoke to who used DePelchin, it was just their support. There's support before, there's support in the middle, there's support after. It's like they become a permanent part of your life.
Got our first baby in 2017, and that was a 3-month placement. And then she went back home to a kinship relationship. So that was a little heartbreaking, but it didn't really deter us. We had another placement that was for 3 days. And so then the third placement was Bryson, our now 2-year-old.
Straight from the hospital.
Straight from the hospital at 4 weeks old.
Yeah.
And so then we learned he had 4 siblings. And through the foster process, we eventually got 2 of his other siblings placed in our home. And then approximately 6 months later, the oldest twin boys were then placed in our home. And we just waited until they said that it was time, and finally got to consummate the adoption. And DePelchin was kind of with us the entire way.
The whole time, yeah.
Checking in on us and really making sure we didn't feel on an island in the whole process.
Well, and we didn't know that this would end up like this. When we found out there were 4 siblings, we were still, going through the process with CPS and working the program with the bio parents. And so we thought Bryson could leave us shortly too, and possibly be placed with family members or whatnot as well. So
there's a lot of uncertainty.
There's a lot of uncertainty. So when we found out about them at first, we're just like, oh, those sweet babies, we loved our Bryson so much. And we would see them at visitations and get to know them, and you could tell they had such a desire for connection and love, and we were just falling in love with them, without even realizing it. And like you said, we just ended up, it was our meant to be family, and we didn't even realize it as we were going along.
And the system itself is so familiar with having sibling groups in the process. I remember Andy went to one court hearing, and somebody in the courtroom was like, oh, well, how many homes are these 5 siblings in? Anticipating the answer to be 4 or 5. And she stood up and said, just 1. And everybody kind of was taken aback because that's just not the standard that people are used to. And we are so ordinary.
Oh my gosh.
Let me tell you, we're the most ordinary, boring people probably ever made. I've got the most boring job. She's at home with 8 kids all day. It's
right before you got here, I was pulling out fuzz from my 2-year-old's nose. He's like, I stuck something up there. Oh, okay. So we're pulling out fuzz. And
I'm just sitting in front of a computer doing emails all day. That was my day, pretty much.
But it's just, I've always dreamed of having a big family, and every little thing, even when I'm overwhelmed and exhausted or it's chaotic in here, it's so easy for me to just kind of go, I'm so blessed. And I wouldn't want this chaos any other way, because it's fun and we're all learning and growing and laughing through all of this. And we've had the best time with the online school and talking about the funny things happening with teachers and things going wrong. And I mean, everybody's doing this right now with their children. And so we're just ordinary. And when I think about all the things that were happening in the world where, people are calling us and wanting interviews, and we're just living in this bubble here. And so we see us on TV and we're like, oh, wow, when did that happen? Because we've just been living in this house and, kind of trapped during all of the COVID stuff. So, I mean, we really are. We're still learning and making mistakes. And the one thing that we teach our children is that we all make mistakes, even mom and dad, and we say we're sorry, and we learn from that, and we do better the next time. And so I think security is just the main thing we wanted to give them, something they knew. Sorry. Security is just something that we wanted to make sure they felt deeply. And, when that adoption day happened, it was like the biggest, you could just see their shoulders just relax. I mean, it was, we're Boneras. I mean, yeah. I mean, they were just, it was amazing.
And it said that, the kids are so blessed for this.
No.
We are more blessed
We are.
than they'll ever be,
Yeah.
just by having them in our lives.
Well, I don't know about ordinary. I think all of us watching you say extraordinary. Those children have a glow and a look of safety, of trust, of enjoyment and stability. So across the board, you guys have delivered and then some. So thank you. Thank you for being a bright, shining light for so many children.
I mean, we're in love with them, and it's absolutely been an amazing experience. And I'm just all teary-eyed from watching the video and seeing them. And it's been a long journey, and they are just extraordinary children who just worked through trauma and let us love them. And it's been amazing.
What were the kids' reactions to seeing themselves on TV? That's sort of out there.
Well, I think the funniest and the scariest part was our 4-year-old Gabby running around the living room screaming, "We're famous, we're famous." And that was worrisome. But
she's an actress, so
yeah, she's the extrovert.
I think it's a little unbelievable because they would see themselves on TV and think, oh, that's cool. And then we just go back to school at our kitchen table. And, we weren't really out in the world to experience all this. So I don't know if they truly understand how exciting this is or amazing this is, but they are really enjoying it. And they're so sweet and precious, and they make us laugh about it all the time.
I mean, it's clearly an example of loving parents and loving children and highly adaptable family too. So you've not only created this, ginormous family that's just so cool, but you've also gone through this year of COVID with all the rest of us. I'm just curious. I heard you say that you're homeschooling, which makes a lot of sense. Has there been anything unusual about COVID and the kids this year, or is it just kind of business as usual because your days are full and your family is sort of large and to some degree all encompassing? They take every minute.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, we wake up every morning at 7:30 and get dressed and eat breakfast, and our school starts around 8. They log on to Zoom meetings with their teachers. And honestly, today I was even about 3 o'clock, we were working on papers with my 8-year-old twins. And I said, well, we need to take a break because mom has her own Zoom meeting. And, some days we're done by 1 and some days we're on there till, 3 or 4, but they're completely adaptable. They're so smart and funny. And honestly, I just sit there sometimes watching them learn and grasp things. And I think what a blessing this quarantine has kind of been for our family's sake, the extra bonding that we've been able to do. And, you know, they're the most grateful, sweetest kids. And I can't believe that I get to be their mom and watch them grow and laugh with them and see them, you know, learn all through the day. So I'm kind of a homebody, so I'm enjoying this time with them quite a bit. And it's really just been, I've got 7 who are in school. Yeah, 7 are in school and 1 isn't. He's 2. But, you know, we're just moving along, trying to get everything done every day. And I really enjoyed it, honestly.
So I think that gives everybody else a lot to think about. If you guys are managing 7.
We're trying.
We're trying.
Fair. Well, listen, any advice you have for parents, for couples that are thinking about adoption?
Well, it takes being patient and being open to a lot of different opportunities and possibilities, because, you know, these children come from a variety of different backgrounds. So you want to be open to, you know, they may not necessarily have learned to do things the same way you have done, or they may not have had dinner at a dinner table before. So you got to start at square one in some different places. And
yeah, I mean, just it's been amazing. Do it. Start the programs. Go, especially with DePelchin. They're amazing, and you will never regret going through this. I mean, we always wanted to foster to adopt, and the main thing I kept telling myself all the time was take the pictures. You know, constantly, mentally, emotionally, every single thing that's happening, a traumatic moment that we're going through or we're healing, and then later you're standing there and you're reflecting on that picture of a memory, and you're seeing the growth this child has made. And I just do it. That's all I can say about fostering to adopt. It's the most wonderful thing I've ever done in my entire life. I don't regret one single thing that we've gone through, and the outcome is we have these beautiful, resilient, precious children who call me mom and dad, call us mom and dad, and they're still healing from things, and they still have their worries. But when they're sitting there hugging on you and, you know, wanting you to help them get through a moment, like coming to you, asking, the bond that you've made with them is worth every struggle and traumatic moment you've gone through. And it's a lot with five kiddos, and they all, you know, they come from the same family, but they kind of all went through things different. So it's a wonderful experience, and all I can say is do it. Just do it. Go forward. Adopt, foster, do it.
There's nothing more challenging than just being a parent in general, I think. And there's probably some extra challenges, I'd say, that are involved with doing the foster to adopt program, with the trauma that a lot of the kids have unnecessarily had to have gone through. But with that challenge, there's nothing more rewarding than seeing them through those challenges and being with them on the other side forever.
Well, I think I'll leave it there. Thank you. A heartfelt thanks again, Andy, Thomas, your entire family. So appreciate everything you do and everything you're going to continue doing. I can just imagine getting breakfast on the table. So I'll be thinking of you tomorrow, taking a mental image.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Jennifer Moffett. Thank you, DePelchin team. I hope all of you that have been on this call with us have really gotten a sense of DePelchin and who DePelchin really is in the lives of these children, and how our team creates families and sustains health, well-being, and safe passage for our kids. So with that, I think I will close it out. Please consider getting to know DePelchin a little bit better. we would embrace you as foster families, families interested in adoption, and of course, we're always in need of donors. So with that, I leave it in your good hands, and thank you for your time and your attention.